you. So I want you to think about this today. Who are you? Not who others say that you are, but who do you really think that you are? Now, this is something, it's really quite deep. It really needs to be thought about. You need to take some time to think about this, and it may take you days, months, just to really contemplate and think about who you really are. Now, guys, I know you're only about 15 to 16. So for me, the journey, it was really in my 30s that I started to find out who I really believed that I was. So today I want to share with you some of that, some of the journey, but also to get you to start to think about who you really are. Not how you've been brought up or who you've been around, not your friends have said things, or your parents, or the schools you've been at, the sports you played and how you felt when your coach has spoken to you, not how you felt when the different clubs you've been in, the different groups you've been with, the different teachers you've had in your life. So many people speak into our lives over the years, and we take that on board and we kind of shape our identity from that we really shouldn't. So I've got a fair bit I want to read at the same time, so I will be looking down. Our identity is formed very early in our subconscious, and it's formed from continual information that we get from the world around us, and from people, mainly, what people say to us. And visual things as well. As we see other people, we kind of wish we were like them, or wish we looked like them, or we could do what they could do. I know firsthand for me, as an example, I've always wanted to play guitar from the age of 12. From the age of 18, I always looked at the guys that were amazing at it and wished I could be them. And then I spent probably 12 years wishing I was someone else. And it wasn't until pretty well in my 30s that I decided, I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to enjoy the instrument, enjoy what I do, and then doors just began to really open up for me, and I just felt so more fulfilled, not trying to wish I was someone else. So there is a real peace and freedom in knowing who you are. Now, there's a writer by the name of Og Mandino, and it's in the book Greatest Salesman in the World, if you've ever heard of it. Maybe not, maybe some of the teachers have. And he writes that we are nature's greatest miracle. So since the beginning of time, never has there been another with my mind, my heart, my eyes, my ears, my hands, my hair, my mouth, none that came before me, none that will come after me. There was no one like me. There is none tomorrow that will walk or talk like me. There is no one that thinks like me. All men are brothers, yet I am different from each. I'm a unique creature. I am, and you are, nature's greatest miracle. Now, I've got that written on my bathroom wall at the moment. I've had it there for a little while since I read the book, that I wake up and I'm nature's greatest miracle. There's no one like me. No one's as short as me. No one's got, missing as much hair as I am, or whatever. It doesn't matter. No one is like you. You are you. And that's what's amazing about being you. Okay, so moving on, and since we're Christian studies, I can throw in a few Bible verses here today. So as you think in your heart, the Bible says in Proverbs, so are you. So your heart is your inner person. It's your mind, and it's you, it's your feelings, it's not just your brain, it's you. Your heart is the core of you. As you think about who you are, that's who you are. That's who you become. So whatever's in your heart, again, flows out in your speech. So if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't have confidence about yourself, if you don't have a positive, good thought about yourself, that will come out in your speech. That will come out in your negative talk. So to assist us in having a healthy mind and body, fruitful and happy life, and to positively affect the world around us, we need to be careful about our thoughts and guard our minds. Filter out the negative thoughts and focus our minds on true and positive thoughts daily. No matter how we've been brought up, where we've been, what we've been through, what has been said, or we've heard others speak about us, we don't need to listen to that negativity. We can choose to decide to react to it, or choose to believe it. We can choose to put it aside and go, no, I'm not going to listen to those words that have been said about me. I'm not going to listen to the thoughts that I'm getting in my head. Now, the devil is a liar. He tells us things about ourselves that are untrue, and about our circumstances that are untrue. He knows our insecurities, our weaknesses and our fears. And he plays on them to try and distract us from being who we really are. When we listen to these lies and the circumstances we have been through in life, we can end up believing in the lies and letting the circumstances dictate how we see ourselves. We must choose to not believe them and set our minds on the positive and search deep for who we really are. Now let me tell you about myself real quickly, again, other than what I just mentioned before. I grew up lacking confidence. I probably had a low self-esteem. A lot of our identities, the boys, is formed from our fathers. My dad was a hard-working farmer, hard-working miner, eventually, when he finished with 35 years in the farming industry. So I never really seen him. He was always working. When he finally had a day off, he was at TAB. So I found that I didn't really get much chance to have any connection with him until I got my licence, 17, then he helped me on the car. So I never grew up with any emotional connection, no hugs, no telling me I was awesome, dropped me off at sport. Mum never drove, so Dad would drive us, drop us off, but he probably went to the pub or TAB, I don't know. But he never really got involved in my life. Now, he was an amazing father, he did awesome things for us, but he never had that emotional connection with me. So for boys particularly, and all of us, but boys particularly, we really shape our identity from our dad. And I never had that. I never felt like I knew who I was. So I went through school, I was never good at sport, and some of you probably already know that. You've seen me throw a ball around. I was never really good at it. I was the last standing in the team when they were, in the line. They don't do that anymore, thankfully. But pick your captains and you pick out your players. I was kind of the last one standing there because they knew I wasn't the best at the sport. So that really got in my subconscious, not just what you hear, but the experiences you go through, as I said earlier. So then went through that, and then I became a tradesman, did an apprenticeship, never really confident at it. I was a diesel fitter. My first job, I was working underground. I'd never been underground, so I didn't know what I was doing, and the crew I got in, they started to nickname me and call me different names that weren't positive and just really affected me. So even as an adult, here I was still lacking confidence because of what people were saying, and I took it on board, I listened to it. So it wasn't until I decided, that's it, I've had enough. I hate my job, I'm going to become a teacher. I thought about this for 7 years. It was a very slow process. Decided to do it, went out, started studying at uni, and I found during that process that I found who I was. I found that I could be who I wanted to be. I could believe in myself, I could be confident, I could speak before people like I am now. I could never speak, even all those years at school, I failed my orals. I come away, believe it or not, as a teacher, I actually don't think I passed English, I might have got C- or something. I hated speaking, hated writing, didn't really like reading much, but now I absolutely love all those things pretty well. So around that time I shifted into finding out who I really was, and this flowed on, and need to wind up very shortly. So I've been teaching now for 10 years and I am very confident at it, and I believe I'm successful at it. I don't know, I probably should do a survey on the students, but so those that have had me would obviously know whether I'm a good teacher or not, but I believe I am, that people enjoy the subjects, they want to come back, they keep choosing the subject. So from then on I went on to decide to get into the music. Some of you know, you've seen me around a bit doing that. I played all my life, but I never felt confident until 30 odd. But it wasn't until only 2 years ago, I'm in my 40s now if you haven't guessed that, not still 30 something, I decided, right, I'm going to sing and play without anyone else. And so for me, this is massive. I'm in my 40s now and I still had lack of confidence. I decided, that's it, I'm going to give it a go. It didn't just happen easily. It was an opportunity that came about and I got asked to play by myself. The duo I was in, he couldn't be there. So cut a long story short, something inside me said, you know who you are, you can do this, believe in yourself. So I got up, played the 2 sets, had claps all night, went home, bought a PA system and said, that's it, I am doing this. Since then I've played at 22 venues on the Sunshine Coast, and I get invite after invite. I've got 2 millionaires New Year's Eve have got me playing for them at their party, and so as soon as they found out they were millionaires, I put the price up, as you do. No, they had me last year and then invite back, so yeah, awesome opportunity. So what is holding you back from being you? What lies have you believed and circumstances have you personally been through in your life, in your journey, that people have said to you or you've experienced, as I said before, that you've heard from other people, and how you've sort of heard that, you've shaped a view of yourself already at 15 or 16. So I want you to leave you with this today, like to fulfill your destiny. Like God has a plan for each and every one of us. You before you were in your womb, your mother's womb, I knew who you were. So He planned us before we were even born. So He knows all about it. So what I'm trying to say, if God knows us, maybe we need to go to Him to find out who we are. Okay, maybe you're not quite sure. Maybe you haven't had the best parents to shape that. Maybe you've had a lot of bad experiences. Maybe you're sitting here and feeling, I don't really know who I am. And maybe you're trying to be someone else by the way you dress, the way you act. But maybe you need to go to God and ask, who am I? And really search, do a soul search on yourself to find out who you are. And everybody is unique. Thank you very much for listening today, guys.